Today's budget report video is a great reason of why I do not do no spend months. This is our first month since my husband has gotten a new job, so here's what our budget looked like for December 2022. Hey guys, I'm Marissa and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk about how you can enjoy life and accomplish financial goals through the use of a budget, so I share my personal household budget here on YouTube as well. I live in Portland, Oregon with my husband Jacob and our two sons, Peter, who's 2.5, and Jack, who is 6 months. And here is how our budget went this month. So here's a look at our budget for December. Before we get all into it, I do want to let you know that now is a great time to start budgeting if you haven't started already, or if you feel like you're confused, you don't know where to begin, or you're frustrated with your current budgeting status. I have a course called Budget to Your Dream Life, which walks you through how to create and optimize your budget to fit your lifestyle and your goals. I will leave a link to that down below and you can check that out there. Also, I will leave a link to this budget template down below in the description box as well, and you can get that. This budget template is included in the course, so if you want to get the course, you don't need to purchase the budget template separately. So the first thing that we have is our income section. I have my husband Jacob's income and my income blocked out, as well as unemployment. So my husband, in the month of December, started a new job. He was let go in a mass layoff with his old company at the end of October. He had a new job and started his new job mid-December. So it was a short season of being unemployed, but it definitely was scary. But we were able to make it through. We didn't even have to touch our emergency fund. I will leave a link to our November budget up here. You can check that out. That was basically the only month that we had where he didn't have a job. But Jacob did get a small severance from his company. I think it was a 2-week severance, 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Anyway, it was a very minimal severance, but something's better than nothing. He did receive that in December, even though he got let go at the end of October. He did receive that in December. So that came in this month, as well as his first paycheck with his new job came in as well. I have my income that I make from my business here on YouTube. And then unemployment, we did have a couple unemployment checks come in for the month of December because my husband was unemployed during that time. So it was a whole mix of income this month, but as a grand total, we brought home $8,483.53. So here's how we spent every dollar. The first thing that we have is our expense section. This is all the money that goes out of our bank account. We first have our giving, our tithe to African New Life and missions. We're Christians and we believe in giving to our church and other organizations, so that's going to be there in our budget. The next thing that we have is our mortgage, which is at $2,206.28, which includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. And yeah, that's there. Next we have is our HOA, which is a standard $121.46. Water, sewer ended up being a little higher than expected at $100.17. Not bad though. Then we had natural gas at $98 instead of $70, a little bit higher. We did have some cold weather as we're heading into winter. Then we have our trash. This was a trash month. We paid every other month. That was at $72.60. Next we have is electric. We budgeted $40 and it's actually $68.38 this month for electric, so also a bit higher than expected. Then we had internet. I must have entered this in twice because our internet was definitely not a double payment. And there, we had it fixed. $44.99. This is also why you always have to double check your budget as you go through. We all make mistakes. Okay, next we have is our phones at $198.12. This was more than a typical month because we actually paid my parents for our cell phones. And when my husband was unemployed, my mom was like, hey, don't worry about the phone until like Jacob, gets the job stuff figured out. So that is why we didn't pay it in November. We're getting caught up in December, so it was more. Next we have is insurance. Our insurance ended up being lower. This is for our cars. It was $94.44. I think it's like twice a year or something like that. They do a little kickback or whatever, so that's what got applied. Next we have is life insurance at $52.89. And then groceries. Budgeted $400. We actually spent $671.14, which is a lot. And this is why I am not a fan of no spend months. When my husband was unemployed in the month of November, we were going like beans and rice, trying not to spend any money we didn't need to spend. And so that month, I think we spent about $200 on groceries, and we were just eating through all the things we had in our house and mostly doing that. So this last month, we basically had to catch up in December. to restock the things that we no longer had. And I know that a lot of people do love a no spend month, and there were things that I learned in that season of when my husband was unemployed. We just kind of reeled back our expenses, and we're like, do we need this? And I think that was a good evaluation for us. But in terms of things that you are going to need, like groceries, like doing a no spend month for that, I don't personally see how that is going to be helpful, because you're going to reduce your expenses one month so that then you're going to increase them the next when you have to resupply that. It was good for us to eat through some of the things that we had on hand, so I'll give it that. But besides that, like, we're having to repurchase and restock up on things. So this is a really high month because last month was really low. So it all kind of evens out. But Costco is also doing some sales on some stuff this last month, so we are stocking up on some of those as well. Next we have is eating out. We spent $9.80. We didn't budget anything for it, but we went out once and shared a takeout meal. Basically, that's what that was. Next we have is gas. We budgeted $150, but we only spent $83.50, which was great. Fun. We didn't spend or didn't budget for anything. Next we have is miscellaneous. We only spent $55.77 on miscellaneous, which was great. So fantastic there. Peter's school. Peter, our son, does go to a little preschool 2 days a week. So I have that budgeted for, but I do have that blocked out for privacy as well. Then our Roth IRA was listed here, as well as college. So I would love to be able to fully fund my 2022 Roth IRA. I'm not there yet. I think I have $3,000 left to fund for it. So you still have until tax day 2023 to make any contributions to your 2022 Roth IRA. So I do still have time, but with us being on this pause with my husband's job and everything, we haven't been able to put to the Roth IRA like we wanted. And the same thing goes for college. We were putting $200 a month into each boy's 529 college savings plan, but we have since paused that. We are planning to resume that again in January, and we're only going to do $100 each month to each 529. But this month we didn't do anything. Okay, so next we have is the grand total of all our expenses, $52.80.70. So we spent $226 more than what we budgeted for. So we were a bit over there. Okay, next is moving into the savings section of our budget, and it was not a fantastic month in this area either. So let's kind of walk through. The emergency fund. This is our big goal right now. We want to increase our emergency fund up to 6 months of necessary expenses. We had around 3 months when my husband got laid off, and we didn't have to touch it, but I would just have so much more peace of mind if we increase our emergency fund a bit. So we are increasing this, and that's where we wanted to put every extra dollar. We also are saving for taxes because my husband Jacob had unemployment, and we did not withhold taxes through unemployment, so we're saving it on the back end so that we have money to pay for when tax time rolls around. So we are saving a portion of his unemployment income for taxes and setting that aside, which is important. Next we have is personal spending for Jacob and myself. We didn't put any money into it, but we did spend a little bit. Next we have is extra giving, and we allotted $250 to this. I shared about this in a video a while back, but at the end of November, our son Jack ended up getting RSV. Well, actually both boys had RSV. Peter, our older toddler, was okay. It was definitely not great, but he was okay. He was stable. Jack had severe trouble breathing, and we ended up having to take him to the hospital, and he spent 2 days at the hospital, at the children's hospital. It was really scary, but it could have been so much worse than what it was, and so we're grateful for that. But that being said, we took $250 from our extra giving to buy toys and things for the kids at the children's hospital that we went to, just because we felt so impacted by our experience being there. And also when we went through this time of my husband being unemployed, I never asked for any handouts or anything, but some of you did actually find my Venmo and were very generous and sent us a financial gift, and I just wanted to use that to pass along because there are so many people who are in much worse situations than what we were, and so that is the money that I used to pass along, was to buy gifts for the kids at the hospital. Next we have is other gifts like wedding, baby shower, those kinds of gifts. And then we have clothing. we weren't going to budget anything, but we ended up spending some, so I just added that to that fund to basically zero it out. And then same thing for vacation. We are actually going to California in the spring for my little sister's wedding, which will be exciting. So we just bought flights for that. So I just budgeted what we spent on flights. Then we have Christmas. So I ended up putting $375 into the Christmas fund to cover additional Christmas gifts that we ended up buying in the month of December for family and friends. Our Christmas ended up being much more low-key. The boys had a couple things. They didn't need a lot. And Jacob and I just didn't get anything for each other, but we just got like little things for family and stuff. So we did spend $333.63. Next is medical. So when my husband got laid off, his insurance benefits were extended through the end of November, which was great for when my son was in the hospital, but that was all covered. But the month of December, we actually had a lapse in coverage. Now we did have the option that we could enroll in COBRA, continuation of benefits, if needed, but it's $1,600. So whatever made more sense for us of like whether or not to pay for something with cash, out of pocket, or enroll in COBRA. If we had a big hospital stay, it would have made sense for us to do COBRA, but if we just had a couple doctor's visits, like, be best to pay those out of pocket. So we ended up having 2 doctor's visits for the boys in December at the beginning of the month as like an RSV checkup for them at the pediatrician. So I do expect to receive bills for that, and we'll pay for that out of pocket. So that's what I have budgeted here. And we did spend a little bit out of our medical fund for other medical things this month. So I do have that budgeted for. And I'm grateful that we didn't have to enroll in COBRA. And as of January, we are enrolled in insurance through my husband's new employer, which is great. Now we have core blood registry, dues and subs, car maintenance, all things that we're not budgeting for right now because we're wanting to put as much as we can to our emergency fund. So we kept those very minimal, as in we didn't put anything to them. Next we have is house maintenance. We only put money into it what I needed to have this fund not go to zero. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, I do have this blocked out just for privacy of how much is in each fund, but the beginning balance carries over from the ending balance of last month, and then we add in what we put into the fund and subtract out what was spent, and there you get the ending balance. And this template does that for you, by the way. The ending balance is calculated off of what was added to it, what was spent, and what the beginning balance was at the beginning of the month. Next we have is household. So we budgeted $50, and I ended up putting $350 into here because we spent nearly $400. It was a huge Costco month. Again, there were lots of deals going on, or they currently are going on at Costco right now. Huggies were on sale, toilet paper was on sale, dishwasher tablets, like so many things that we use regularly came on sale, and things that we will buy not very often, so we stocked up then. So we definitely spent a lot this month on household. Next we have is kids. We budgeted $100. Actually put in $349. Actually, I put in every extra dollar here because we spent $444 on kid stuff this month. I bought a sleep training program from Taking Care of Babies because we've been struggling with sleep over here. I also bought a very expensive sleep sack, also related to sleep. A lot of this money here is related to baby sleep because it's been a rough 6 months over here for us, but I feel like we're getting our little guy on track, and he's doing great, and we're gonna get there. But a lot of this money was spent on sleep necessities. I think we're all ready to get sleep around here. So now I just want to show you guys a little in real time update that I have here. So our grand total for savings was $3,157. Our total out, which is taking our expenses and our savings total, equals this. But as you can see, there's a difference which should be zero, and it's at $44.99 because I made that error with the internet. So I'm gonna put every extra dollar to the kids fund right now because that was just over. That was a lot. So that's that this month. We were not able to put anything to the emergency fund, which was not great. But we were funding a whole lot of other things that just went on during the month, which is okay. So now to show you our net worth update for December. Net worth has not been great this month or this year. It was a rough net worth, but that's okay. Here's how it went. Our retirement went down to $112,559, so we lost $5,700 in our retirement investments. But we're still keeping on the course. We're not selling anything. It's just down right now, so it's fine. Just had a decrease. Next we have is our house. Our house, I do have this blocked out for privacy, but it did go down $10,000. Not great. Our emergency fund amount, which is here as well. Other sinking funds that we have as a grand total, which is $295 right now, not much. Next we have is the value in our HSA, which we do have invested and we're planning to use for the long term, so we're not touching it right now, and that is at $51.26. Next we have is Robinhood. I have obviously just like a couple little stocks, single stocks in Robinhood for fun. Next we have is our Highlander. This went down almost $2,000 in value, and then our RAV4, which is now at $15,000. So these are both things that we track with Kelley Blue Book, and we just get a rough estimate of what our car's worth. So our total assets or things that we own is $732,000, and our only liability or things that we owe money on is our mortgage, and that is at $376 now. So as a grand total, our net worth is $355,000. Our net worth went down $16,000 this month. Not great, but that's kind of nothing I can control much of with market stuff right now, so that's okay. But I'm going to keep tracking it to see how it goes on as time goes on. So that's a look at our overall month of December 2022, wrapped up the year, and I'm excited for what 2023 will hold. So let me know in the comments below, what was something awesome that happened in December? What are you looking forward to for the new year? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
About to leave already.